You ever walk into a room and then suddenly stop and think, wait a second, what did I come in here for? Maybe you open the fridge and stare inside like it's about to give you the answer. We all do it. It's one of those things that starts happening more often as we get older, and for many of us, it can feel a little unsettling. Now let me ask you this, have you ever found yourself wondering if these little lapses are just part of aging, or something more? You're not alone in that worry. And that's exactly why I want to have this conversation with you today, just you and me like two friends sitting together over a warm cup of tea. You see, memory is a funny thing. It's not just about remembering where you put your keys or what you went to the store for. It's your connection to your life. Your memories are your stories, your people, your joy. That silly joke your grandchild told you last week. That moment years ago when you danced barefoot in the kitchen. That's memory. And we don't want to lose that. After 60, it's easy to believe that forgetfulness is just par for the course. But the truth is, our brains are much more adaptable than we think. Science has a word for it, neuroplasticity, which just means that your brain can still grow, still build new connections, and still surprise you, even now. But here's the real secret, your brain needs a little love. Just like your muscles need stretching, just like your heart needs movement, your mind needs simple daily habits to stay sharp. And no, I'm not talking about doing crossword puzzles until your pencil breaks, though those are fun too. I'm talking about 5 doable, proven habits that can help keep your mind vibrant and strong no matter your age. We're going to walk through them together in this video one by one. And by the end, I hope you'll feel not just more informed, but more hopeful, more inspired, and more in control than ever before. Because memory loss is not inevitable. And you, my friend, have more power than you might realize. Let me tell you about something that happened a few years ago. I met a woman named Gloria. She was 72 at the time, living alone after her husband passed. She told me she started forgetting little things, names of neighbors, where she left her glasses, how to follow a simple recipe she'd made 100 times. At first she laughed it off, but eventually it scared her. She was worried it meant something worse, something she couldn't stop. But Gloria did something important. Instead of giving in to the fear, she decided to make a few changes. Tiny ones. She started walking every morning. She began reading a book a month again, something she hadn't done in years. And she joined a small cooking group at her local community center. Nothing dramatic. No big fancy programs. Just a few meaningful tweaks to her daily life. And do you know what happened? After a few months, she told me her mind felt clearer. Not perfect, but better. She laughed more. She started remembering recipes again, not because she forced herself, but because joy had snuck back into her routine. Her memory improved as her life began to feel full again. And that brings me to the first habit I want to share with you today. Move your body even just a little every day. Now before you worry, I'm not talking about running marathons or joining a gym. I'm talking about something as simple as stretching while your coffee brews. A short walk around the block while the sun's going down. Dancing in the living room to a favorite old tune. Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, Elvis, whoever gets your toes tapping. The point isn't intensity. It's consistency. Movement increases blood flow to your brain, helping nourish your memory centers, especially the hippocampus, which is like your brain's memory hub. When we move, we send a message to our brain that says, I'm still here. I'm still active. Let's keep going. You ever notice how a walk can clear your head? That's not your imagination. There's real science behind it. And it doesn't take much. Just moving your body in a way that feels good every single day can keep your brain sharper and more responsive. And while we're on this journey together, if you're finding any of this helpful or even just comforting, I'd love it if you'd give this video a like or share it with a friend. You never know who might need to hear these words today. Alright, let's talk about the second habit. It's one that often gets overlooked because it seems so ordinary. But it might just be the most powerful one of all. Stay socially connected. Now, I know, this can feel tricky, especially if you've lost people close to you, if you're living alone, or if your energy just isn't what it used to be. But connection doesn't have to mean crowded gatherings or nonstop phone calls. It means feeling seen, feeling heard, being part of someone's day even in a small way. A 5-minute chat with your neighbor, a phone call with your grandchild, saying hello to someone at the park, joining a book club or a volunteer group, even if it's just once a month. These tiny moments of connection light up areas in your brain that help with emotional memory and language recall. And here's something beautiful. When we share stories, when we laugh or even cry together, we're not just bonding, we're reinforcing neural pathways. That's a fancy way of saying, your brain remembers better when it's part of something meaningful. I remember my Uncle Joe, he was in his late 80s, sharp as a tack. And do you know what he did every week without fail? He played cards with his friends every Thursday night. Rain or shine. He'd say, it's not just about the cards, it's about the conversation. And that kept him engaged, thinking, remembering. The truth is, isolation can quietly shrink your world. But connection? It expands it again. It's like opening a window and letting fresh air into your mind. So if it's been a while since you reached out to someone, maybe today's a good day to pick up the phone, or knock on a neighbor's door, or just smile at someone the next time you're out. You don't have to do it all, but doing something, no matter how small, can make a world of difference. And hey, we're just getting started. There's more I want to share with you. So stick with me. This is a journey we're taking together, slow, steady, and full of heart. So, we've already talked about moving your body and staying connected. Two habits that, on the surface, seem so simple. But when you stick with them, they begin to shape the very way your mind works. And I want to tell you something, just in case no one said it lately, you're doing better than you think. Just by being here, listening, showing interest in taking care of yourself, you're already on the right path. Now let's keep this gentle momentum going. The third habit I want to talk about is one that doesn't get nearly enough credit, especially after 60. And that is feeding your brain the right fuel. And no, I'm not about to hand you a complicated diet plan or ask you to cut out every treat you enjoy. Life's too short not to have a slice of pie once in a while. But what we do need to talk about is the incredible impact that certain foods can have on your brain, foods that actually help you hold on to your memory longer. Think of your brain like a beautiful garden. You need to water it, give it sunlight, and of course you've got to feed it the right nutrients. Foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and vitamins help protect your brain cells from damage and even support the growth of new connections. Isn't that amazing? Even in our 60s, 70s, 80s, our brains are still able to grow. Let me give you an example. My dear friend Evelyn, she's 67, sharp as a tack and always ahead of me in Scrabble, swears by her morning bowl of blueberries. These little things are brain berries, she calls them, and she's not wrong. Blueberries are full of antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain, both of which can contribute to memory decline. Then there's fatty fish like salmon or sardines, rich in omega-3s that keep brain cells flexible and functioning well. Leafy greens like spinach and kale? They're packed with vitamin K and folate, both of which are tied to slower cognitive decline. Even a handful of walnuts a few times a week can work wonders. But here's the thing, it's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You don't need to overhaul your entire pantry. Just start adding in 1 or 2 of these memory-boosting foods each week. Maybe it's a berry smoothie a few mornings, or a little spinach stirred into your soup, or choosing a handful of nuts instead of chips one afternoon. Small steps. That's how real change happens. Now, while we're on this topic, let me ask you something. What's a meal or a food that always makes you feel good, energized, or sharp? Maybe it's something you grew up with, or a new recipe you've tried recently. I'd truly love to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else watching this to try something new. And honestly, we can all use a few new ideas in the kitchen, right? I remember once I asked this question during a talk, and an older gentleman raised his hand and said, peanut butter on toast. Every morning. For 40 years. Keeps me steady. And you know what? That's beautiful. Because it's not about trends, It's about what works for you. Now, speaking of steady, let's talk about a habit that often gets pushed aside, but is absolutely vital to memory, and that's rest. Good, deep, restorative sleep. I know, sleep can be a bit of a sore subject for many of us past a certain age. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe it takes forever to fall asleep. Or maybe you sleep but still wake up feeling groggy and forgetful. But here's the truth. Sleep isn't just rest for your body, it's a cleaning cycle for your brain. During deep sleep, your brain actually flushes out toxins that build up during the day. It organizes your memories, sorts your thoughts, and resets itself like a filing cabinet, putting everything into place. That's why when you get a good night's sleep, everything just feels clearer. And when you don't, well, even your keys start playing hide and seek. I had a neighbor, Henry, who struggled with this. He'd toss and turn all night, then nap all day and still say, "I can't remember what I had for breakfast." But once he started doing a few small things differently, like keeping a regular bedtime, turning off the TV an hour before sleep, and drinking chamomile tea instead of soda in the evening, he started sleeping better. Not perfect, but better. And you know what came next? He remembered my name again. I laughed and said, "I guess I'm unforgettable after all." But really, I knew it was because his brain was finally getting the rest it needed. So if you're struggling with sleep, don't brush it off. Try a new routine. Make your room cooler, darker, quieter. Cut out heavy snacks late at night. And most importantly, be gentle with yourself. You're not failing. Your body's just asking for a little help finding its rhythm again. You've probably noticed a theme by now. None of these habits are extreme. None of them require a brand new you. They just ask for you, exactly as you are, to show up a little differently each day. A little more care. A little more awareness. A little more love. And honestly, the fact that you're still listening right now, that tells me you've got something strong inside you. A spark. A willingness. And I want to thank you for spending this time with me. We're walking this path together, and it means more than you know. So before we move on, I'd love to ask, what's one small thing you do, or want to start doing, that helps you feel sharper, more present, or simply more like you? Let's start a little conversation in the comments. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. And if you're enjoying this talk, don't be shy, leave your thoughts below. I do read them and I'd love to hear your story. Alright friend, let's keep going. There's still more to share. More inspiration, more wisdom, more heart. You know, the further along we go on this journey, the more I realize taking care of your memory isn't just about preserving the past. It's about staying present, staying connected, staying alive in the moment. Because every time you recall a name, finish a sentence, or tell a story to someone who matters, that's you living fully right now. And that, my friend, is something worth nurturing. So far, we've talked about how movement wakes the brain, connection keeps it vibrant, good food feeds it, and rest restores it. These aren't just habits, they're acts of self-respect, of honoring the mind that has carried you through so many seasons of life. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. A habit that is so simple, so quiet, you might wonder how it could possibly make a difference. But trust me, it does. Here it is. Challenge your brain with something new. Something unfamiliar. Something that makes you a tiny bit uncomfortable, in the best way. You see, the brain, much like a muscle, gets stronger when it's exercised. But here's the trick. It needs variety. If you only ever do the same crossword puzzle or the same routine, it's like lifting the same 5-pound weight over and over. Your brain gets used to it. It stops growing. But when you introduce something unfamiliar, even something small, you light up areas of your mind that haven't been used in a while. That's where growth happens. That's where memory starts stretching its legs again. Let me give you a lovely example. A man named Alan. I met him through a local storytelling group. He's 74, retired engineer, always had a sharp, practical mind. He told me one day, kind of sheepishly, "I started learning Italian last month." I laughed and said, "Planning a trip?" And he said, "No, I just like the way it sounds." Isn't that wonderful? He shared how just 10 minutes a day, listening to the language, repeating the words, had started doing something unexpected. "I'm remembering more names," he said. "I'm recalling details from books again. It's like a switch flipped on." That's because learning something new, especially something creative or unfamiliar, forces your brain to build fresh connections. And those connections strengthen all kinds of memory, short-term, long-term, even emotional memory. Now don't worry, you don't need to pick up a new language, unless you want to. It could be anything that sparks your interest. Playing an instrument, trying painting, gardening with new plants, even learning how to use your smartphone in a new way. It's not about mastery. It's about engagement. And you might say, "But I'm not good at that." And I'll say, "Perfect. That means your brain is learning. That means you're right where you need to be." And this leads beautifully into something that's maybe the most powerful of all: protecting your mindset, your outlook, your beliefs about what you can still do. Because the truth is, how we think about aging often has more impact than the aging itself. If you believe your memory is doomed to decline, you're more likely to stop trying. But if you believe, deep in your bones, that your brain is still capable, still alive with possibility, it will respond to that. It's not magic. It's science. It's called the expectancy effect. What we expect, we tend to create. So if you walk through your day thinking, "I'm getting forgetful," your brain says, "All right, let's go with that." But if you start to say instead, "My mind is still sharp. I'm learning every day," your brain begins to shift. It follows your lead. I once met a woman in her 80s, sharp as a tack, stylish, kind, and funny as all get out. She told me, "People are always surprised I remember so much. But I tell them, of course I do. I expect to." And I just smiled because she was living proof that attitude matters. So if you've been hard on yourself lately, maybe it's time to change the script. From "I'm getting old" to "I'm growing wiser." From "my memory's slipping" to "my brain needs a little more care right now, and that's okay." It's a gentle shift, but it's everything. And while we're talking about what's possible, I'd love to invite you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. This isn't just a channel, it's a community. A place where we support each other, encourage each other, and remind each other that life after 60 is still full of discovery. If you want more conversations like this, more inspiration, more guidance, you'll find it here. And I'd truly love to have you along for the ride. Now you might be wondering, can small changes like this really make a difference? Let me tell you a story about my Aunt Clara. She was quiet, thoughtful, not one to make a fuss. In her 60s, she started forgetting things, small at first. Then one day, she missed an important doctor's appointment because she'd written it on the wrong day. She was so embarrassed she almost didn't tell anyone. But she did. And instead of hiding away, she made a choice. She started going on short walks every morning. She cut back on sugary snacks, drank more water, and started journaling in the evenings. A little memory log of her day. Nothing big. Just small, loving steps. Within a few months, she said something I'll never forget. "I feel like I've come back to myself." That's what these habits are really about. Not fixing something broken, but coming back to yourself. To the you that still dreams, still remembers, still wants to live. So take heart, friend. Your brain isn't giving up on you. And you don't have to give up on it either. Isn't it something how the smallest shifts can spark the biggest changes? The more we talk about memory, the clearer it becomes. It's not just about remembering where you put your glasses or what day your doctor's appointment is. It's about holding on to the parts of yourself that matter. Your stories, your wisdom, your laughter, the people you love, and the moments that made you who you are. And I truly believe with all my heart that it's never too late to protect and even improve your memory, no matter where you're starting from. Now, the next thing I want to share with you might sound a little unexpected. It's not about food or exercise or even sleep. It's about attention. You see, one of the biggest reasons we start forgetting things isn't because our memory is failing. It's because we were never fully paying attention in the first place. Our minds are often so full, planning, worrying, replaying yesterday, that we don't give the present moment our full attention. And if the brain doesn't catch the memory properly the first time, there's nothing to retrieve later. It's kind of like taking a photo with a shaky hand. The image turns out blurry. Memory works the same way. That's why practicing mindfulness, being fully present in the moment, is such a powerful tool for protecting memory. Now, don't worry, I'm not talking about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop for hours. I'm talking about little moments of awareness sprinkled throughout your day. When you're brushing your teeth, can you really feel the motion? When someone's talking to you, can you listen without thinking about your reply? When you eat, can you slow down and really taste it? These moments of presence train the brain to pay attention, and when it pays attention, it remembers more. A lovely woman I once knew, Lila, used to say, "Every morning I sit with my coffee and watch the steam rise." That's my way of practicing presence. Isn't that beautiful? Nothing fancy. Just being here. Fully. You could start with just 1 minute a day. Sit. Breathe. Notice what you see, what you hear. Anchor yourself in the now. Because memory, in so many ways, is built on our ability to be here now. The more grounded you are in this moment, the easier it becomes to hold on to the moments ahead. And here's something else, something that's often overlooked but so deeply important: emotional health. Our thoughts and feelings, especially the ones we don't say out loud, have a direct effect on our memory. Have you ever had a day where you just felt off? Like your mind was foggy, your focus was gone, and you were forgetting things left and right? Often that kind of mental fog isn't caused by age. It's caused by stress, or sadness, or loneliness. These emotional weights quietly pull at the edges of our brain power. I knew a gentleman named Paul, a retired school principal. He was one of those people who remembered everything. But after his wife passed, he began to struggle, losing track of names, misplacing things, repeating himself. His doctor found nothing physically wrong, and eventually, Paul said something that stuck with me. He said, "I think I just lost my anchor." That grief, that deep sense of missing someone, had affected his clarity. And that's okay. That's human. But what helped Paul begin to heal and remember was simply talking about it. Sharing stories. Laughing again. Slowly, gently, the fog began to lift. So I want to gently ask you, how are you feeling these days, really? Are you carrying something heavy? Because if you are, please know this: your mind doesn't need to carry it all alone. Talk to someone. Write it out. Pray. Sit in nature. Whatever helps you release some of that weight. Because when your heart begins to feel lighter, your memory often does too. I say all this because I've seen it time and time again. The body, the mind, the soul, they're all connected. You can't nourish one and ignore the others. So let yourself be whole. You've earned that. And here's a little bonus habit I've seen work wonders for people, especially as we get older. Teaching others. Yes, teaching. You don't have to be in a classroom to do it. It could be showing your grandchild how to bake your favorite recipe. Telling a younger friend about the lessons life taught you. Sharing a piece of wisdom in a group or even online. When you teach, you reinforce your own memory. You relive stories. You repeat knowledge. You anchor your thoughts. Teaching keeps your mind sharp, and it keeps your heart open. And honestly, this world could use more wisdom from people like you. Because you've lived through things. You've seen change. You've weathered loss and learned joy. Your memory isn't just about brain cells, it's about your legacy. Every memory you hold is a thread in the beautiful fabric of your life. And every time you share a piece of that, you're not only keeping it alive, you're passing it on. So please never think you have nothing to offer. You have so much. And the very act of sharing it can keep your mind strong. You know, when I talk to people in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, I often hear the same quiet worry: I don't want to lose myself. And what I tell them is this: you haven't. You're still here. You're still you. Maybe a little slower. Maybe with more creaks and pauses. But still full of ideas, of humor, of love, of wisdom. That doesn't disappear with age. It just asks to be tended a little more gently. A little more patiently. Like an old piano. Maybe it needs tuning, maybe the keys stick, but oh, the music it still holds inside. So let's keep tuning, keep tending, keep loving these minds of ours, even when they feel a little foggy, because they've carried so much. And with just a little care, a few small habits, they'll keep carrying us, one beautiful memory at a time. I want to take a moment here, right here, to say something that maybe you haven't heard in a while. You're doing beautifully. Not perfectly. Not without your struggles or your forgetful days or your moments of doubt. But beautifully still. Because just the fact that you've stuck with me through this conversation, that you've stayed open, curious, maybe even a little vulnerable, that tells me more about you than any memory test ever could. It tells me that you care. About your mind. About your health. About your life. And that caring is the foundation of every good change to come. We've covered a lot together, haven't we? Little steps, gentle habits, movement that stirs the brain, connection that lights it up, nourishment that feeds it, rest that restores it, learning that keeps it young, presence that sharpens it, and emotional care that supports it. None of it complicated. None of it out of reach. But every bit of it matters. And the truth is, you don't need to do all 5 habits perfectly all at once. That's not how lasting change works. You just need to begin. With one. With any of them. Pick the one that spoke to you. The one that made your chest feel warm or your eyes sting a little with recognition. The one that whispered, "This might be for me." That whisper? That's your inner wisdom. And at this stage of life, it's often the most trustworthy voice in the room. There's a beautiful quote I once heard. It said, "We don't stop playing because we grow old, we grow old because we stop playing." And I believe that's true for memory too. We don't lose our memory simply because of age. We lose it when we stop using it, when we stop living with curiosity, when we start believing the lie that decline is inevitable. But you, dear friend, are not here to fade. You're here to shine, in your own way, at your own pace, with your own unique light. You're not past your prime. You're in a prime that many people never reach, the prime of wisdom, of reflection, of knowing what matters and what doesn't. And that kind of knowing, that deep, earned knowing, is something no one can take from you. Not even time. So what now? Now, I want to encourage you to take this message and live it. Not just listen and move on, but let it shape the way you walk through your day. Let it remind you to stretch your legs a little more, to call someone you love, to try that puzzle or that painting or that language you've always admired, to get a little more sleep, to drink some water, to notice the trees outside your window and say, "I'm still here." And more than that, if something in this video made you feel seen or understood, I hope you'll share it with a friend, a sibling, a neighbor, someone else who might be quietly worrying about their memory too. Because we are never as alone as we think we are. And sometimes all it takes is one small conversation to open a door. You can also like this video if it helped you. That helps more people find it. And if you feel called to, leave a comment below. Tell me what habit you're going to try first. Or share a story of something that helped you keep your memory strong. Your words might be the very thing that encourages someone else. And if you'd like to stay connected to this kind of support, to these kinds of conversations, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to talk about, to explore, to learn together. This isn't just about information, it's about community. And I would be honored to have you be part of ours. But whether you subscribe or not, whether you like or comment or just sit quietly and take this in, I'm grateful for you. Truly. For your time, your heart, your presence. You know, my grandmother used to say, the mind is a garden. You have to water it, pull the weeds, and plant something new now and then. She lived to be 96, and even in her final years, she'd surprise you with a poem she'd memorized in the 40s or a story you'd never heard before. Her memory wasn't perfect, but it was alive, because she never stopped tending it, and neither should you. So here's my final message to you. You are not behind. You are not too late. Your mind is not gone. It is waiting, patiently, lovingly, for you to care for it, the way it has quietly cared for you all these years. Your memories, your mind, your life, it's all still here. And from this moment on, you get to choose how you care for it. Start small. Start today. But whatever you do, start. You've got so much life left to live, and so many beautiful memories yet to make. Here's to living your best life at any age. Until next time, be well, be kind to yourself, and don't forget, you are stronger, wiser, and more capable than you know.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means a lot. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit. And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest tips and uplifting advice for living your best life at any age. Now, if you're ready for more wisdom and encouragement, just click the video that's on your screen right now. It's packed with even more insights made just for you. Take care, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next one.